How's it going, everybody? And welcome to an exclusive Nosebleeds podcast episode where today we have some breaking news. Cam Newton has announced that he is signing with the New England Patriots, a one-year deal worth $7.5 million. We're going to break it down here today, all of our opinions, such. New predictions for the Patriots going on this season and stuff like that after this signing of Cam Newton. My name is Nick Antonakis, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by the usual cast. We got Sam Derringer, Stuart Brooks, and Chandler Betts. This episode is actually being recorded after a couple of other ones that we've done. So this one will go up first, but then you're going to see kind of our opinions on the Patriots and especially Jared Stidham in the next couple of episodes that go up. So, obviously I'm going to acknowledge those points here, but this is breaking news, guys. So I have my little sheet here. Cam Newton
exciting.
Cam Newton signed a one-year deal with the Pats worth $7.5 million per Adam Schefter. So let's just dive into it. What are your thoughts on the deal?
Someone want to start? I don't want to start.
Sure. It's actually from my understanding, it's not 7.5. It can be up to 7.5.
Yes, you're right.
It's an incentive-laden deal.
Yeah.
Which is, you guys
designed to reward him.
My opinion, I think it's great. I think it's a low risk, high reward signing, because I think it's great for both sides in that it makes the Patriots at least more competitive on paper right now, and it shows that Belichick is when there's nothing going on in free agency and just the NFL offseason's dead, he's just going to swoop in out of nowhere and just pull something off like this. I think it's fun. I think it makes things interesting in the AFC East for sure. I don't know what they're thinking in terms of is Cam. I think Cam's going to be, of course, the assumed starting quarterback going into the season, but I don't know if this is to make some competition for the other quarterbacks. I'm trying to kind of appeal to Nick here right now, give him something to hope for. I think Cam is the clear-cut starting quarterback of this bunch right here, but anything can happen.
Yeah. I would agree with the high reward, low risk, because even if he plays poorly, it's bringing attention. And I think it's the best thing about the signing is actually for the league, because the Patriots have been one of the most important franchises in prime time for the last 20 years. But we lost Brady. We still have Belichick. We still have that clout. And now that they signed a former MVP, even though he might be a little bit depleted from then, it's important and probably helping the viewership numbers. It adds another story or another narrative to the season.
Yeah. Especially the way the schedule's structured. Even though we lost, probably our most important piece when you think about it, we're still playing the number one team from each AFC East division. Just the way that the schedule is structured. So it's going to make the games more appealing to watch rather than watching Patrick Mahomes or some kind of insert really good defense pick apart Jared Stidham.
I also think it's interesting to see how it's kind of interesting to see how Belichick will use Cam Newton, because having a running quarterback, a quarterback who's really good in the run, Belichick hasn't had that sort of offense ever since Brady became the quarterback. I feel like this is a similar offense to what it looked like right before Brady became the starting quarterback, a run first, defense heavy scheme. And I think it's going to be interesting to see if Belichick can be successful, as successful or really successful with this sort of quarterback who's really different than Brady. So, yeah.
Definitely. I agree with you there. But, don't get me wrong. I like this signing a lot. I am not a hater of this signing. It's like you guys have said, it's low risk, high reward. Obviously, we might not even have to pay the guy $7.5 million like Chandler added if he doesn't play that well. Or
it's incentive based. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I like the deal. It adds more depth to our quarterback position. But in my opinion, I don't think that we have a guaranteed starter yet.
Well, you're wrong.
There are definitely people.
They wouldn't have signed Cam Newton.
So I have seen people. I have seen people out there who are saying, oh, it's just more competition for the starting quarterback spot, and it's just gonna they're gonna play it by ear and see how it goes. But I'm in the opinion group that thinks that Cam Newton is the clear-cut starter. I think that at least week 1 he's going to be the starter, assuming he doesn't get injured or re-injured, because I just think he's that much better than everybody else that we've seen in the quarterback room right now. When healthy, this is all if healthy, because he is very injury prone. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think he's the clear cut starter if he's healthy.
Yeah, I think the only player that you can even attempt to make an argument for would be Stidham. There's no way they're going to start Hoyer over Cam, because if you're thinking about these are two. He just signed another established quarterback.
No,
you just take both their careers.
It takes Hoyer out of the equation.
Right.
Yeah.
Belichick's desire to sign another quarterback shows that he doesn't have confidence in Hoyer either.
I think he likes Hoyer's role. He likes where Hoyer is. He likes that as a backup.
But
I think that's what Stidham's going to be.
Hoyer signed with the Patriots for less money than he would have at another place, because he thought he had the chance of starting. So I kind of feel bad for the guy that he's being bumped to third string. So.
Or second string. I mean,
no, he'll probably be the second string.
Do you guys think that Stidham's going to be a third string quarterback?
Why do you think Stidham is good? Like, what evidence do you have?
Look.
You don't have any.
I've said this is where the important part. This episode is going up before our quarterback rankings episode, where we went very in depth on Jarrett Stidham. But I'm gonna still stick by my opinions. I'm confident in Jarrett Stidham. I like the guy based off what we saw from him in the preseason. Last season,
Nick,
was very promising.
My one issue with that is that my one issue with your what you've seen comment is that we have barely seen anything from him. And what we have seen from him is an interception and bad decision making. That's what I think.
The preseason against third stringers against Detroit. Like, I'm sorry, but he better play.
No. Look. I'm just saying that his decision making and his intelligence in those games. Obviously, the touchdowns that he throws and the passes that he throws, he's not going to throw those same passes that he was throwing against Detroit in the preseason in a regular season game. Those were, like Stuart said, those were third string guys. But
can I jump off that decision making point?
Okay.
So actually, I was watching SportsCenter last night. I think it was at like 11:30 or something, and they were talking about the it was really late. They were talking about the Cam Newton signing, and they pulled up a quote from Bill Belichick in 2017 about Cam Newton. I will quote it. I have it in front of me. When you're talking about mobile quarterbacks, guys that are tough to handle, tackle, can throw, run, make good decisions, I mean, I would put Newton at the top of that list. Not saying that there aren't a lot of other good players that do that, but I would say of all the guys we play or have played recently in the last couple of years, he's the hardest to deal with. He makes good decisions. He can run. He's strong. He's hard to tackle. He can do a lot of different things, beat you in a lot of different ways. We saw that game.
A quick point on also
that statement. Sorry, let me just get this out really fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
The key of that statement is that it was 2 years ago. That was the 2017 season, correct?
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
Since week 10 of 2018, Cam Newton has gone 0-8. He missed the entire last season due to his foot injury, and the year before he was dealing with a right shoulder injury. So this guy is nowhere near the same as he was 2 years ago. He's been through war. He's banged up. He went 0-8 in his past 8 starts. And those are not impressive numbers.
I actually agree with Nick's point here. Like, I still think Newton's going to be the week 1 starter. I still think he's better than Stidham here. But, like, a lot of people on the internet are saying, like, today I saw Stephen A. Smith says that the Patriots are now 3rd in the AFC with the Newton signing. Like,
I think that's bold.
I still think he's, like, only an above-average quarterback. Like, I still don't think it makes us, like, dramatically better. I think it's a fun signing, but, like, he's not, like, a superstar quarterback. I'm sorry.
If you're getting MVP Cam Newton, then yes, it would make us top 3.
I mean, if you're getting MVP Cam Newton, then we are the best team in football. Maybe not
the best, but better.
They're rivaling the Chiefs and the Ravens. Yes,
because think about it, MVP Cam Newton is significantly better than last season Tom Brady. Like, it is not close.
Yeah.
It is not close.
Yeah.
Better numbers throwing the ball, and amazing runner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was 34 touchdowns and 10 picks and 10 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean,
12,
MVP Cam Newton is essentially MVP Lamar Jackson. It's just
yeah.
that Cam Newton's first to run through
I would say
somebody
he's
rather
even
than
a little
run
bit
around.
more consistent with throwing.
I'd say he's less consistent. Nick, he had less
I would also
touchdowns
say
and more
less consistent.
picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but with Newton, also I think Belichick had Newton has a respected Belichick just for the fact that I think we played Newton in 2013 and 2017, and he beat us both times.
Yep.
And that's something, because usually I think Belichick's beaten probably every team in the league multiple times,
and I don't think he's ever beaten Cam Newton.
Right, he has never beaten Cam Newton. So
That's interesting, actually.
I mean, you
I
can
didn't
kind of
know
say
that.
in 2013 that was kind of Gronk with the pass interference should have been called, but in 2017 he really burned our defense in that game, and that's when we started 2-2. So I just he has that respect factor there too. I think he respects Newton enough to, if he's going to sign him, he's going to start him. Also, if Newton's the backup, I mean, I just don't really see why, what is he going to be doing there? Like, he'll just get cut. I think if he plays poorly in the preseason and gets hurt, he'll probably just get cut. I don't even think he'll be a backup.
Yeah. I have a question for everybody.
Yes.
Kind of two questions, but I'll ask the first one first. Why do you guys think it took Cam Newton this long to sign a contract anywhere?
I don't know.
I think for a few reasons. I think that injury concerns, I think, is one thing. I think the personality situation, because, he definitely brings a unique personality, very outspoken personality, which isn't necessarily a bad thing to the locker room. But I feel like, was there some trouble with that in Carolina? I don't remember.
There was some.
A little bit, yeah.
And I think it was, the main thing was the injury concern. I think he's just been very, very injury prone, and he's been inconsistent over his career. And I think teams were nervous of that. I am a little surprised that nobody jumped on it sooner because of the low risk, high reward factor.
Yeah. I have points to make about it.
Yeah. I don't know. What else do you guys think? I
just think the thing with Newton is, like, I think there was some buzz coming out of his camp, and I don't know if, like, I feel like I remember hearing this, but it might not be true, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was true. I just don't think he wants to be a backup quarterback, or, like, he at least wants a chance to compete for the starting job. So, like, let's say a team that needs a backup, like the Steelers, because they don't really have a backup right now, like, they're not gonna sign Newton because Newton wants a chance to compete.
But I think also something
like a lot of these teams have established quarterbacks. Like, the only teams I can really think of that need a quarterback, like, could use
Chargers,
the Chargers,
Jaguars,
Jacksonville, and maybe New England. Yeah. So it's not a very list.
Going off Stewart's point, I feel like that the other teams in the league just weren't interested in Newton for what he was. He's very injury prone. He was probably asking for a lot of money at the time because
he was
still.
At first, I think there was a good chance he was asking for more.
Something else that's huge here is also that he kind of compromised somewhat a little bit, because he was asking for a lot at the beginning. And I think that the fact that he was willing to compromise with the Patriots shows that he's shifting his thinking more now, and he just wants to come back and play to prove his worth in the next offseason. So that's another thing that I think is huge here, that he's coming back with a certain hunger that I think is going to drive him, because he said this is a contract year for him. So he's going to, like, try to ball out and play really well.
That's really true.
And then if he doesn't, then we know that he's not really able to make any sort of comeback, at least in the short term. But if he does, then it's going to be really beneficial for this year's Patriots.
I have a good point to make off of that. I'm actually I was up very late last night. I was actually rewatching The Last Dance.
Oh, wow.
And something just popped into my mind from that. It was Michael Jordan's dad talking about Michael Jordan. And this isn't exactly the quote, but it's something like, sometimes all you need is for someone to doubt you. And I think
so now we're comparing MJ to Cam Newton.
It's a bit of a stretch, but it's the same mindset.
I have a short story.
Well,
why are you just saying Jared Stidham? He's not even in this.
Because you are all doubting Jared Stidham.
That's the point of
Nick. That doesn't make any sense.
Cam Newton is a prime comeback player of the year candidate. Like, he fits the bill.
Absolutely.
If he can play out, then he's going to get comeback player of the year.
I just
one
feel
thing
that
about Cam, though. One thing about Cam.
Oh, go ahead.
What?
Okay, thanks, Nick.
No,
So
no
I just want to make a point about that doubting thing, though, is like I remember there's a story about him and Cam Jordan, who plays for the Saints. They lost the division, I think it was in 2017. Yeah, that's right, and to the Saints. And so then Cam Jordan left a broom in his locker room and a glass of like an expensive glass of wine, and then Cam like kept it as like motivation for the next year. And you know what happened the next year? They lost the Saints twice and didn't even make the postseason. So I mean, I don't mean to like take a dump on Cam, but like he kind of he's shown a failure there with that.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good point. That's a fair point.
Well, also,
I think
his coach was Ron Rivera at the time, right?
Yeah.
And Ron Rivera is specifically his history has been as a defensive coach. I mean,
I would say
he had.
Belichick is as well, though.
Yeah,
Well,
I can't
yes,
believe
but Belichick has
the
Josh
Panthers.
I thought he was
Yeah.
a pretty good coach.
I still can't believe that Panthers team went 15-1 because like their defense was like
It was
it was okay.
It was good,
But
no,
like it
good.
wasn't like anything like insane, like 15-1.
Yeah.
Like I
wasn't
just think
Broncos
Broncos
historic.
defense was better.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just think
Oh.
I guess you could similarly compare it to sort of the Ravens in that it was just a dominant running quarterback who like that no teams could scheme around it, and they were just having trouble catching up with him. And
Yeah.
That was so strange. I just can't believe you're right, Sam. I just don't see how they didn't lose
I'm
just
just
a few
shocked
more
because like
games.
you think like yeah, they have MVP Cam Newton, but then they have some like okay receivers,
They had
some
no good
fairly
receivers.
good
Greg Olsen.
some fairly good defensive players, and that's it. Like I just think like I mean Luke Kuechly, I mean maybe I should say some great defensive
Josh
players,
Norman
but like
was extremely good that year. I think that was
yeah,
part of the
maybe
thing.
but like still like there have been other teams
He
that
consistently took out the other team's number one wide receiver like all season, which was helpful.
I just think it's interesting. I just think like it was just really good coaching and teams not being able to scheme around Cam Newton, and that I think of the Ravens similarly with Lamar Jackson. I know they're kind of completely different players, but still.
Yeah, the only time they lost was to Atlanta, and it wasn't even like they got blown out or anything. Like,
Yeah,
they were. They legitimately could have gone 16-0 that year. Like
That would have been
Yeah.
crazy.
I think the thing with that team is they always jumped on the opponents. They'd go up like 21-0 in the first quarter, and then they just
Right. They like came out with a firepower. They just
like in that Seattle
piled it
game
on. Yeah.
in the divisional round, they went 31-0. So then, I mean, Seattle made it 31-24, but it didn't matter at that point.
Right. Yeah. Chandler, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna. What was I going to say? I don't really remember, but I have another point that wasn't.
Okay. Go
Uh,
ahead.
So this is gonna be a real reflection on Belichick as a coach. This whole Cam Newton experiment, because this is a
Yes.
toy he has never played with.
Exactly.
He is in his. I mean, the closest thing to a mobile quarterback he's ever had is Jacoby Brissett, and
One game.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It was for like 1.5 games. And I would imagine that Belichick was already looking to Brady coming back, kind of leaving that to Josh McDaniels. I mean, I remember he ran a couple read options, and that was really it. Just quarterback options in general.
Yeah.
But now
Against
he
Houston.
has an established quarterback who he has the most games with both a passing and a rushing touchdown, and it's not really close. He has, I think it's 35, and then Steve Young's in second with 24. And so I kind of feel slightly hypocritical saying that Cam Newton is going to come back with a certain fervor, and then Ben Roethlisberger is going to be the worst quarterback that's ever played football.
Right. Yeah.
I
That
feel
was the
kind of
one
hypocritical
thing.
saying that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
also,
Because
But
Nick
that's
brought up
why.
the point that he was
that's-
0-8.
Well, yeah. But Ben is like almost 40 years old. Cam Newton's
That's
only
true.
31. So.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could bring up
That's
the
what I
age
was
thing, but besides the age, that's where you guys kind of are contradicting yourselves with
Yeah.
that a little
I'm
bit. Because
I'm
Well,
not
but-
contradicting at
but
all
Ben
because I'm not
Roethlisberger
very high. I mean, I like Cam
had a
Newton,
torn
but I think
Achilles.
that he's going to be
Yeah.
an average starter.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with
So
Nick.
that actually leads me
Yeah.
into my next point that I was the second question of the two that I had.
Yeah.
Do you think this is Belichick saying that he doesn't have any faith in Stidham?
Yes.
No.
Well,
No,
no
not
faith, but
necessarily.
not
No.
very much.
I say yes. I say
I'd say
that
no,
that-
not
really?
yet. Nothing has
he-
happened.
I think.
If he did,
Look,
he wouldn't have made
my-
the signing.
Wait,
That's
can I
just
make
the way
a
I
point?
feel. I don't understand how that's not true.
Do you guys think this was always a plan, that they were going to get one more quarterback? Or do you think that at one point they were going to roll with Stidham?
Well, actually,
yes.
They drafted 2 quarterbacks. I don't think this was the plan because
I don't think this was the plan at first.
Yeah.
Well, wait.
I think they were going to roll with Stidham, and then Cam became more available, more affordable, and then they jumped on.
And then I also think Stidham played poorly, and whenever they just don't like him.
But the thing is, they were willing to roll with him at one point, and nothing has happened between that time and now.
Not
Wait,
really.
can I just make a point
The only
really
thing that
fast
happened
about
was
Stidham?
that a starting caliber quarterback became available, and then a
I
backup
don't think-
quarterback will
I
be
think-
relegated to being a backup.
I think it's Belichick
that,
giving up on him next year. I think next year Stidham
I mean,
doesn't have a
maybe
chance
that's
unless
for the
Cam Newton
better.
gets hurt.
Whoa! Hold on, wait. Let me make my point because it ties right into that.
Nick is very vocal
think-
now.
Because, all right, look, I'm going to stick by it. My primary blueprint for Jared Stidham before Brady left or anything was to have 2 years under Brady, and then next season he would take over as the starter. So he had 1 year under Brady. Now Brady's gone. I believe that this year, possibly under Newton, while still having the chance to start based off how they perform in the preseason in the first couple of games of the season,
Well, that's not going to
determine
happen. Unless Newton plays terrible, there's no way.
Unless Newton gets hurt or plays terribly, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
What we were saying in prior episodes, but for our viewers, it'll be future episodes because they haven't gone up yet. We were saying that we are hoping Jared Stidham is an average starting quarterback. We don't see him being much more than an average starting quarterback this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Cam Newton is at the same level as an average starting quarterback right now.
No, I
So
think he brings more to the table.
having the two compete for a job, 2 average starting quarterbacks.
No way.
I feel like it's bold to say. I feel like it's bold to say Newton is an average starting quarterback.
I don't
it's bold to
because
say
he's
it's at the same
banged
level.
up. He went 0-8 in the past 8 games that he's played over the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But Nick, he was
injured
injured
for the whole
What
last
He wasn't
did he
injured
do
for
that
all
on?
the whole.
He was injured, and the offensive.
He was
What
on
was
the
the Panthers'
Panthers.
offensive
Yeah.
line? What is their
Bad.
What was their
It was-
offensive
it was
line?
pretty bad.
Criminally bad.
Yeah. So
was pretty
there
bad.
are
Okay,
two
but he
things.
plays.
He was
Who
playing
was his best
sort of
weapon
injured, and he
other
had a
than
bad
Christian
offensive
McCaffrey?
line.
Yeah,
Mr.
you're right.
I'm
He
one
didn't have
biscuit
any
away-
weapons.
one
He had
Popeye's biscuit away
Greg
from being
Olsen.
a tight end, Kelvin Benjamin.
That wasn't
89-year-old Greg Olsen.
We don't have
Yeah.
weapons now that are much better than that.
Exactly.
Let's be
Yeah.
honest here.
But
And
our
we don't even
offensive
have
line is
McCaffrey.
better.
It's a system.
okay,
It
but
is a system.
Ron
at the same
Rivera's
time,
system is not
Newton
quarterback friendly. Ron Rivera is
neither is
defensive
Brady's.
coordinator.
Newton thrived off of this aggressive running game where he would take hits to make plays.
Yeah.
After coming off those 2 big injuries and being 31 years old, I don't think he can play that much.
I
like
think
that
he's
anymore.
entering his prime.
That's what we said
Right
about
He's
now.
Derrick
entering
Rose.
his prime.
That's what we
That's
said about Derrick
really
Rose.
crazy.
He's not entering his prime. He's not entering his prime.
That's
My
But
problem
I
with
think
Newton
could be.
is
Usually
no,
right
no,
around
no,
now.
No,
he's
no,
never
no,
gonna.
no,
I know,
no,
usually
no,
around
come
now, but
on.
he's never gonna reach the
That's
peak of his
crazy.
MVP season.
I
Yeah.
agree with Nick
No,
completely.
no. Oh, sorry. Okay, you guys misunderstood what I said. Usually, I should have said usually this is around the time when quarterbacks enter their prime. I think
That's
with
true.
Cam Newton,
around
I
30.
do agree that I don't think he's ever going to get back to that MVP level. But with that being said, I do think if he's healthy, he's going to be above average to really good. I
Okay.
think he's going to be
I don't.
like that.
I'd add on to Nick's point. I would agree with the Newton thing a lot, basically, because we're talking about what we've seen from Stidham, over the last year, I guess, and it hasn't been great, but we've seen Newton in the last 2 years. If you watched him physically in that 8-game losing streak, he was not the same guy as he was 3 years ago, not even close.
He was injured.
Oh yeah.
He's big. No, you can't just say, but he was injured. He's 31 years old and he's a running
Well,
quarterback.
even
There's
before
no
the
way.
injury, Sam, this goes all the way back to week 10 of the 2018 season.
He wasn't injured the whole time, and he's injury prone. He's getting older, and it's going to be very difficult for him to maintain. What running quarterback has maintained that productivity until 31? Nobody.
I guess what I'm just having
Fran
trouble with is
Tarkenton.
I guess what I'm just having
He's not a
trouble
running
with is
quarterback.
putting Stidham on the same level as Cam right now when we look at what Cam is capable of in his career.
Okay,
When we
Cam
haven't
is
seen
capable, but
When we haven't seen
I just
anything
think
of
they're
what
both
Stidham has
not
done
that
yet.
good.
Can I
just
jump off
think
that?
they're both kind of bad. To be
yeah, wait,
honest with you.
Chandler, go ahead.
Okay, Nick, I'm going to cast your mind back to April 16th, 2000. That is the day that we drafted Tom Brady. So
He wasn't born yet.
We all know that Belichick didn't actually really, really care about Tom Brady. It was like some positional coach in the organization was like, draft this guy, and then they did.
Yeah.
So then we have after Tom Brady won the Super Bowl in February 3rd, 2002 or something, the one the Rams
Sounds
won.
right.
February 3rd.
So I want you to put yourself in the mind of Bill Belichick right then. Bill Belichick he just paid Drew Bledsoe an exorbitant amount of money. He was the 1995 first overall pick. I mean, all in all, he was a highly respected quarterback in the NFL. Yet, Bill Belichick had the confidence to play Tom Brady, a 6th-round pick who had played not even a full season. I'm not saying that Stidham is obviously Brady, but Brady wasn't Brady back then. So if Belichick believed in Stidham, why wouldn't he do the same thing?
That is a good
He even
point.
had an ounce of
That is a really good point.
If he had
I agree
an
with
ounce of
Chandler.
confidence in Jared Stidham,
If he
would
even had a
play
little
him.
bit.
At the
He
same
traded
time, though,
Bledsoe. He traded Bledsoe in that offseason. He
That was
didn't give him
back
one
then. That was a
opportunity to bring
super
backup.
bold move. That
Yeah.
was so super bold back then when he did that, and he put all
That's
the
true.
eggs into the Brady basket.
And then they went 8-8. And then they went
Yeah.
8-8 that season.
Yeah, they might have. I think I agree with you because they wouldn't have picked up Newton if Belichick had believed in Stidham entirely.
Yeah, he definitely.
I also
I
heard-
feel like I'm saying that the situations are similar. I agree with your point, Chandler, but the Patriots now versus the Patriots in 2002 are two very different teams. We just came off an
How
extremely
so?
disappointing year when before the
We
Patriots
just
came
won
off
the
a
Super Bowl
win
with Tom Brady.
2 years ago.
Well, I'm talking about
And
when they made the
And we
decision
didn't
to ditch Bledsoe.
really choose to part with Tom Brady. Tom Brady chose to part with us.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. But what I'm comparing Bledsoe to Cam Newton here,
Yeah,
and then Brady to – because we chose to bring in Cam Newton.
yeah.
What
Belichick
I'm saying is that let's just pretend that this was what this all happened 1 year earlier, and Brady left after the Rams Super Bowl. That puts us into pretty much the same situation.
Pretty
Okay.
much.
So, and then this will require a little bit of mental gymnastics, but just pretend that like right now is 1 year ago with like everything we've seen from Stidham or the little we've seen is all there, and then Belichick still decides to bring in Cam Newton.
But Brady won us the Super Bowl. Stidham has not won us anything yet.
But see,
Nick, that's
Bledsoe
why
brought us to the Super Bowl.
That's why I just have trouble
getting
wrapping
kinda
my
confused.
mind around the Stidham
Yeah, wait.
argument. because we
Bledsoe
just
got
haven't-
injured halfway through the year.
Yeah, and
Me
then
too.
didn't he play at the end?
And then Brady took over and brought us to the Super Bowl and won it.
Bledsoe played the AFC Championship
Yeah,
game
he
because
played in
Brady
the
got
AFC
injured
Championship.
in the Chuck Rule game. But other than that,
Yep.
pretty much that was it for Bledsoe. I mean, Bledsoe
Yeah.
he had internal bleeding, so it was kind of hard for him to come back right away.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, then he went to Buffalo. They traded him to Buffalo like for basically nothing, and then he was like okay there for a few seasons, and then he went to Dallas, and he was pretty terrible, and that was it.
Yeah.
For Bledsoe.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, can you resort back to the point of that? Like
I'm so
I just
confused
got
now.
lost.
I don't
with
even
the-
understand.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
little confused, you guys. What are
What,
we
for me?
trying? What's the point you're trying to make here?
Yeah,
I'm saying that if Belichick believed in Stidham, he wouldn't be afraid of playing him.
Right.
In the
I
same
just
way
think
he wasn't
it
afraid
again
of
comes
all the flack that he would
But
get for
again-
letting Bledsoe go.
with that thing is that when Drew Bledsoe got injured halfway through the season, he had no choice but to play Brady at that point.
Of course.
We haven't been in a situation yet where we need to play Jared Stidham. We haven't seen enough.
Mhm.
We haven't seen enough film. We haven't seen enough on Jared Stidham yet to get an idea of how to compare him and the Brady situation.
But
Hey, they're both Auburn
Belichick has seen him
quarterbacks.
for an entire season. That's the point that I'm making. It's not that Belichick hasn't been around Stidham enough to say, make a good decision on him. He doesn't believe in Stidham.
I do think it's a red flag
That-
that he brought in Cam Newton.
Exactly.
I do think it shows that he's not.
If you brought
He
in
doesn't have a
Andy
lot of
Dalton, it would be
confidence.
different because Andy Dalton doesn't have to be the starting quarterback where he goes.
I would have
Andy
rather
Dalton's
have
gonna
signed
be-
Dalton than Cam Newton.
I would too.
I would.
I thought he played well
Well-
last year. If Dalton
I'm
was
just-
here, I wouldn't even be having this argument. I think he'd be unequivocally the week one starter.
Yeah.
But with Newton's
Well, what
injury
I'm
history,
trying
I
to
don't
say
know.
is that
Also,
Brady was with the Patriots years before that 2002 Super Bowl.
1 season.
2 years, right?
One season.
Oh, okay.
He had only been the backup 1 year.
And Bledsoe
He
was
had gone
actually
from
coming
the-
off
yeah,
of
he had-
3 Pro Bowls in the last 8 years.
He wasn't very good.
1996 and 1997. And then right when we let him go, he
Okay.
Well,
made
but then you
Super Bowl
can't make that
with
argument.
Yeah, because
You
Cam
can't-
Newton is nowhere near that level.
But you also can't make the argument about Bledsoe because that's like he made 3 Pro Bowls, but he didn't make it 1998, 1999, or 2000. So like that's 3 years removed at that point from being a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Exactly like Cam Newton.
Yeah, and also with Newton,
Who's
like
been pretty trash
last
over the
year,
past couple of years.
it's a small sample size, but they got beat down in week 1. I can't exactly remember who they played, but who's the quarterback? Oh, Kyle Allen was like not terrible with that Panthers core to start the year, but Newton was
It's
not
an I think it's an expectations thing. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't bad because we didn't expect anything of him.
right. Kyle Allen.
My one worry with Cam Newton is that people are overhyping his comeback.
Yeah,
definitely agree with that.
I think that we gotta take this with a grain of salt. And if it does end up playing not very well, that was a possibility that like his injuries could get the best of him,
And it's still
he
possible
just doesn't
to
come
sit him
back
play.
as the same player. Yeah,
But I don't think it's going to happen. But
It's not
possible.
out of the question. No,
The
if
other thing
Cam
with
Newton
Newton-
plays horribly or gets injured, then Stidham's gonna get a shot.
But at the
So-
same time, it's not even a factor of maybe Newton playing horribly or getting injured. Maybe Stidham will overperform everybody's
No.
expectation.
Nick, if Newton plays average and Stidham plays amazing in the preseason, they're going to start Newton. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I
It's just based on
disagree.
track
No,
Why do you
I
disagree? Cam
totally
Newton was
disagree.
MVP of the league. Nick, you
Because
need
we're
to stop
tying
getting this out
back
of
to
your head.
Chandler's point. We're tying back
Nick,
to
Jared
Chandler's
Stidham
point
isn't
here.
a very good quarterback. He didn't play
but
well
nobody
at Auburn.
thought Brady
He didn't
was
play well
either,
at
and then he ended up starting.
We
and
just
winning
haven't
6
seen
Super
enough.
Bowls.
We have not seen
Exactly.
a game.
So I'm
We have not
saying
seen a
if
full game.
Stidham plays incredibly, and Newton
cares?
plays average, just like how Bledsoe played average
Chandler,
and Brady played amazing,
That's not
Yes,
what
then
happened.
why
Chandler.
wouldn't we
May I go?
start? Why wouldn't we start Stidham
Just
like
we
Chandler-
did with Brady in
Let
2002?
Chandler go. Let
Yeah,
Chandler
go
There
ahead.
you go.
I just wanted to finish that point. Go
So let's say I'm gonna again. Well, I won't compare it to the last dance. But let's say there is a scenario where you have unlimited access to the Patriots facilities in 2019. You see every practice.
Mhm.
Do you think at that point you can make a decision about a player after seeing them for literally 12 or
I need
Not
to see
12.
them in an actual game. I think that's what
Well,
I
I
think.
think
It's
also,
gonna come down-
another point here. Like, let's say it was the preseason
you
last year, and Brady plays average and Stidham played incredible. We didn't start Stidham then. I know
That's different, though.
but
That's
not
different,
really.
though,
Cam
because
Newton was an
not-
established
it's
Not
starter in this
super
league.
different. Not
Cam
super
Newton was an
That's
different.
established
very
star-
different.
Cam
That's
Newton was
very
an-
different.
Cam
Newton
Newton
has
was-
come off 2.5 years of being awful, and Brady had
not
been with us
awful.
for
No.
2.5 years of being
15 years
injured.
prior.
No, Sam, that's not an
Sam,
excuse.
come on.
No, the injured thing is dumb, but he
Yeah.
wasn't awful. He's throwing more touchdowns than picks, and he's still a very good he was still a pretty good mobile quarterback prior to that.
Okay,
8-game
but
stretch.
Brady,
He's an
that's
established
totally different
starter in
than
this
Brady
league.
because Brady had been
but
with us for 15 years and won us 5 Super Bowls.
He's an established
Super Bowls.
starter. He's an established
Yeah.
starter in this league.
He's not a
Jared
bum.
Stidham is not. and he
No,
played
I
poorly.
don't know if Cam Newton is an established starter in this league anymore.
Oh,
That's what
no.
I'm saying.
I think
I
he
feel like
is.
He can come in.
Yeah.
He can come in as an average starter, but he's not going to be blowing people away. His career.
Yeah, that's
is
not what
No,
we're
we
saying.
didn't. We're not saying
We're not
that.
saying
You
that.
can be a good.
Yeah.
You can be an established starter in
Bell,
this league
I
without
expect
blowing
Cam
people
Newton to
away.
be like
wait.
the 16th best quarterback in the NFL. But I also expect Jared Stidham to be like the 31st best quarterback in the NFL.
Okay,
If
but
even
let
that.
me just get this straight. You believe that if Jared Stidham plays exceptionally and Cam Newton plays average, they're going to give the spot to Cam Newton.
Well,
Yes.
define exceptional
I-
and average. Is exceptional for Jared Stidham or exceptional
Yeah.
like are we talking
No,
like
an except
like
like a
Russell
good-
Wilson exceptional?
No, obviously not, because Stidham is not going to reach Russell Wilson.
So let's say that Jared Stidham grossly overperforms, and I'll push him up to like 20 on my list, and then
Mhm.
Cam Newton plays average, exactly what we expect. He's still probably 16. So
Yeah.
then, yes,
Okay,
they are
but-
going to pick Cam Newton
I think it's also
what you
it's a
expect,
skill set.
though. We
It's a
don't
skill
know
set
what to
thing, too.
expect.
Who's the backup
But
in
after a
Cleveland?
preseason, we will.
Who's the backup in Cleveland right now? Does anybody know?
No.
Okay.
It's
No.
someone
Who is
not
it?
relevant.
Okay, but let's just
I can
say
look it
whoever it
up.
is, I can't remember. Whoever
Let me
it
look
is,
it up. Let me look it up.
All right, make it. Because I'm going to make a point
Wait,
here with
it's
the
Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It is.
It's Case
Yes, it is
Keenum.
If Case Keenum,
Yeah.
who's played in this
Oh.
league before, comes in and balls out in the preseason and Baker Mayfield plays horrible, who's going to start week 1? Even if Mayfield plays like trash.
Mayfield.
Baker
Unless
Yeah. And he hasn't been very good
Yeah,
the
but
last few
Mayfield
seasons.
has been with the organization, dude.
Okay,
This is
but
the low
that
risk, high
situation.
reward
Okay,
time.
hold up. Let's say
wait,
Brady
guys, can I
sucks.
say something?
Are we gonna start? Oh God, well, I don't even know. His name.
The thing with that situation is that's a little different with the Browns situation is the Browns paid Case Keenum a lot of money to be a backup quarterback.
Did
So
they?
you think they did. They gave him a pretty big contract. I forget what the numbers were on it, but it was surprising how big a contract they gave to him. My thinking is if Baker Mayfield underperforms up to halfway through the season, they're going to replace him with Case Keenum because they have
You're right.
Case Keenum there ready in case Baker Mayfield's a bum.
In case,
Same with Dak and
In
Andy
case.
Dalton
So-
in Dallas.
I would say that's a little bit.
No, not
I think Andy Dalton. I think honestly, what they're maybe even looking for is for him to
He
play
could
well in the
overtake
preseason.
as the starter for the year.
And
I
then
wouldn't even be
trade him.
surprised.
And then, no, I think Dak brings a lot more to the table than Andy Dalton.
Nick,
Even though I do like
Nick.
Dalton.
Nick.
Yeah,
So let's say that we're going to Tampa Bay and Tom Brady is absolutely garbage. Let's say that he cannot throw the ball 5 yards. Are they going to start Blaine Gabbert? Tell me with a straight face that they're going to start Blaine Gabbert over Tom Brady.
And he hasn't even been there for
Okay.
a season yet.
hold on.
that's an
There's no
extreme
argument.
In
version.
that scenario,
That's
they're
an
paying
extreme
Tom Brady
scenario.
$35 million. If
Don't
we
even
back up
think
Cam
about
Newton,
the money.
if we put Cam Newton as the backup, we are paying him nothing. So why would we not start
Nick.
Jared Stidham
Nick,
if he's playing better than Cam Newton?
Nick,
That's what I don't understand with your
Nick.
point.
Because
Nick.
Cam has shown us in the regular
Nick.
season he can be a good quarterback. And
Nick,
Stidham,
I feel like
I
I'm
don't know where
saying
you're getting your
skip,
Stidham buzz. I just
skip,
don't understand.
skip.
He was bad.
wait,
He
yeah,
wasn't
go,
that good at
Chandler,
Auburn.
go.
Brady's only making $7.5 million. Are you still starting Blaine Gabbert over Tom Brady? Let's say he's only making $7.5.
No.
Exactly.
Hell no.
You got to go by
Exactly.
experience. You got to go by what they've accomplished in
Another
their
thing.
career.
Maybe
But-
Nick's right. Maybe Stidham does have potential, but he needs another year behind Newton.
At
I mean,
least.
let's just
I
at
okay,
least
I
say, yeah.
support that, but I don't see Newton starting for this team if he plays not as well as Stidham.
Well, that's just dumb. I mean, that's just like I don't even know how to argue. That's just stupid.
Why do you think
Why do you think Stidham's good? I just don't understand you.
Yeah.
He's bad at Auburn.
No, wait.
He wasn't that good
Okay,
at Auburn.
wasn't
He
that
wasn't
good.
that good.
Oh,
in
they're
the
both
regular
from
season.
Auburn. I just
They're the
realized
two best
that.
Auburn quarterbacks of all time.
He wasn't, but
Why?
Stidham,
So-
with a good Auburn team, wasn't that good in the last 2 years.
Nick,
there.
Do
wait, can everybody pause for a
look,
second?
Look, I
Nick,
agree with
Nick.
Chandler's point. They're not okay. Go ahead.
Nick, could you give a 30-second spiel as to why you believe in Jared Stidham?
Well, look, ready? I'm
doesn't have the
gonna
physical
agree
tools
with
either.
Chandler's point about the Tom Brady thing. Of course, you would start Tom Brady because he's Tom Brady, but at the same time, having Bill Belichick as our coach, do you think that he would hand the job to Cam Newton? I do
Yes.
not.
Yep.
Yeah, I do.
I do
Enough
not.
to sign him to a contract.
He
and
signed
beat
him.
us twice. He wouldn't have signed him if he
He
didn't.
has
Nobody
shown
is
more
guaranteed-
than Cam Newton than he has
Nobody
in
is
Jared Stidham.
guaranteed a spot with Bill Belichick, dude. You can't.
Yes, they are. Brady.
I think with this signing, he is right now, at least at the
you
moment.
think he's the guarantee starter?
Yes.
I'm not
right
saying
now,
that. I'm
right
not
now,
saying-
if healthy, yes.
Okay, if Jared Stidham plays well, I don't even know if we're gonna have OTAs, but OTAs.
Yeah.
If he plays extremely well in camp, if Newton doesn't look that good in the preseason and Stidham plays unbelievable, then maybe Newton suffers like one minor injury, then maybe Stidham is the week 1 starter. But there's going to be a lot of dominoes that
Okay,
have
wait.
to fall for him to be the starter. If Newton
I'm not-
only
I just
plays,
think there's
I'm
a
not-
one more thing. If Newton just
Okay.
plays a little bit worse, let's say Stidham is in the preseason he has 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Newton has 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. You know, it's comparable. They're both around the same level in training camp. Newton just has the predisposed advantage because of
I agree
his
with that.
history.
No, I just want to say
I
one
agree
more
with
thing.
that.
If
And-
Stidham
Yeah, go
does
ahead.
ball out like crazy, then maybe there is a chance.
One thing, yeah, because
Wait,
one
let
thing
Chandler-
in Nick's – no, but
Let
can I say
Chandler-
something really
Let
fast?
Sam go.
What,
All right, fine.
One thing in defense of Nick's argument here, if we truly believe that before the plan was to roll with Stidham as the starter. I could see a possible situation where maybe they go back on the word and think Stidham is a better option. Maybe. I just think it's a lot less likely now that Cam's in. Because if you go by the philosophy that at one point they did believe in Stidham, but they don't anymore, if they do see something from him, that might be revived. I think it's not completely out of the possibility, but with bringing Cam in, it's an obvious signal that they want to have him as the quarterback week 1, if healthy.
Okay, but he has to perform first.
He has to perform at least.
Yes.
Better than Stidham.
No, he doesn't have to be better. He could be slightly worse. I think they'd still start him. But if he was
that's
worse,
fair.
If he was like a lot worse, I think there is a chance Stidham gets the job.
Stidham, because they did. If we're going by that philosophy that Stidham was the plan at one point, then yeah.
All right, wait, Chandler, what were you going to say?
At all.
Okay. So you know how in the last episode, spoiler for everybody, but our hot takes episode, we talked about the importance of coaches in different sports.
Yes.
You guys remember that? So
Yes.
you know how we were like, being a coach in football is so much more important than being a coach in basketball, right?
Significantly more, yeah.
Why is that?
Very.
Why is that?
Because
I think biggest thing is culture, and also player development is a lot more important because there's so much more changing of first of all, it's a bigger roster, and second of all, year in, year out, they have to reevaluate and develop new guys every season.
I do agree with that.
And football is a more knowledgeable game.
I'm going to add on to that and say
I
that
don't think
also
that's
the scheme is more important in football than it is in basketball. And
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So then
It's much more complicated. It's much more specific to the
That's
coach.
what I meant. That's what I meant.
Let's look at Cam Newton and let's look at Jared Stidham. If you were, I don't know, McDermott. I don't even know his first name. I'm not going to call
Sean
him
McDermott.
Sean McDermott.
Doug McDermott.
Yeah, Doug McDermott. Yeah, let's say you're Sean McDermott. Who is more difficult to game plan for, Cam Newton or Jared Stidham?
Cam Newton.
If you say Jared Stidham, you're dumb.
Neither.
Because Cam Newton is not as much as Lamar Jackson and not as much as Patrick Mahomes. But I would say that Cam Newton, because if he can, and this is all obviously an if, but if he can do even 60% of what he's done in the past in pre-Week 10, 2018, which is Nick's favorite phrase in this episode, if he can do 60% of that, then Cam Newton is one of the most difficult quarterbacks to game plan for. And if you put the greatest coach of all time with that, you're not going to pass that up.
That's
you're
a great
No way.
I agree.
to do that.
No way. Yeah, exactly.
I have
But at the same
point.
time,
Right, Nick, go
though,
ahead.
what'd you say?
No, go ahead. I have a bigger point to make, but go ahead.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm saying from the start, I believe that Cam Newton has a better chance of starting the season than Jared Stidham. Don't get me wrong. I believe that Cam Newton has a good chance of starting. But all I'm trying to say is that you can't guarantee
You can't guarantee it.
for
I do
Newton
agree
to
with
have
that.
that spot.
Yeah.
I would say it's a 60-40%. 40% that Stidham starts and 60%
I'd say it's 85-15.
I don't think this is a
75,
percentage
25.
situation. This is a case-by-case situation. It depends on
I agree with Sam.
if he's still injured. It depends on
that's true.
how they perform.
Well, yeah,
because, like,
obviously.
if you take them at face value of how much potential they have, then yes, it's like 85-15 because Cam has a lot more potential, I think. But if you take on how they perform, it can depend.
You have to acknowledge, though, even though I believe that Newton has potential to be good this year, based off what we've seen, my favorite phrase, since Week 10 of the 2018 season.
I agree with Nick.
He's been banged up and he's not played well. That's all I'm saying. Based off the last 2 years of the NFL, you can't say that Newton has a lot of potential based off those past 2 years. If you want him to revert back to his prior MVP years, that's never going to happen. He could probably improve on these past 2 years.
But
if you're looking at the potential, you have to look at the recent history of this player, and Newton's is not good.
I do think also the best coach of all time is going to help with that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that, but if Newton's all banged up and
let's do it.
he's not going to be able to – oh, yeah, Stuart, go ahead.
Yeah, Nick, I'm agreeing with you. Okay, so I have kind of like a general point here to make about how I feel about the situation. Okay, so the first thing with Cam Newton is I actually almost completely agree with what Nick's saying. He's been banged up, and I know that everybody wants him to come back and be great, but I actually seriously have doubt if he can play 16 games. I just think he's going to get injured. I have serious.
Mhm.
I even have some doubt if he's going to play at all. I mean, if you're talking about how many of these running quarterbacks in this age are really going to be able to play past 30, I mean, it's just not. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And another thing, even at his very best, he wasn't like the best passer in the league. He's regressed in the
Yeah.
last few years. He's not super accurate. He throws a lot of uncatchable balls. He's prone to making mistakes. I don't think he's physically there, and I don't think he's very good. But on top of that, I also don't think Stidham's very good. To be honest, I don't think either of these quarterbacks are very good. I don't think
Trevor Lawrence.
it matters. I don't think it matters.
Oh,
I think we're going to go like
no.
6-10, and I just don't think that this team, either quarterback's going to make a huge difference. I'm not a believer in Stidham or Newton, honestly. I wouldn't mind if they started Brian Hoyer.
They're not going to start. I don't see
Wow.
any.
Come
I don't
on.
see any world where they start Brian Hoyer.
I don't think so either. But I really wish they had signed Andy Dalton because I actually do.
Yeah,
I like
that
him more
would
than
have
any of
been a
these
pretty good
quarterbacks on the
signing.
team.
That would have been
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, but
But at
I
the
don't
same
see why they
time,
didn't sign him.
Oh,
His contract with the Cowboys was tiny.
Yeah.
oh God, I forgot what I was going to say.
So I just don't believe in either of the quarterbacks. I mean, Newton will look cool in the Patriots jersey. Maybe he'll make some cool plays. But at the end of the day, I just don't think he's going to be
Oh
very
yes,
good.
okay.
I think we can all agree
oh.
that. Yeah. No. Actually, go ahead. I just forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. I was just saying, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Stidham and Newton even split the season. That was a good point that Stuart made, that Newton might not even be able to go 16 games. I'm not saying I wouldn't be surprised maybe if Newton started the first 3 games of the season, but Stidham took over. Like,
Yeah.
I could even see that
Yeah.
just based off his performance. Like,
Yeah, what if he goes in there, throws 2 touchdowns and 6 picks in the first 3 games?
I feel like, and
Sacks.
reverting back to what Sam said before, I feel like people are having high expectations for Newton when they shouldn't have them, because
Yeah.
you just
Yeah,
you have to acknowledge his past.
I think something we can all agree on is that we're not as high on Cam Newton as maybe the general public is.
Yes.
I don't know why people are so high on him, to be honest.
I don't either.
I like the
think-
signing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's a good, bold
I think there
thing
is
to
a
sell
lot of
tickets, but
potential. There is a lot of potential there. I just don't think you can
I don't
say
even think there's that
immediately.
much potential at all.
I don't think you can agree with Stephen A. Smith by saying, "Oh, this makes the Patriots a top 3 team in the AFC," which I
Yeah,
just
no,
completely
definitely.
disagree with that. I think it definitely.
They were already
if
a
it
top
works
3,
out,
I would say.
I think if Cam can
What?
play like decently. Wait.
Oh,
what'd you
in
just
the
say?
AFC East?
No, the
AFC.
AFC total.
Oh
means
my
the
God.
AFC
Okay.
period.
I was
Oh
like,
my
hold
God.
on.
I was like, now we have a
Wait,
new
he
problem.
said that? I thought you said he was Stephen A. said this makes him a top
top 3
team
team
in the
in the
AFC.
AFC.
I think he's thinking below Baltimore. And
Oh my
Kansas City.
God.
I mean, okay,
That's
but like,
awful.
let's just think about how he would feel about it. He probably believes in Newton to the extent higher than anybody else. He
Yep.
believes in
Okay.
Belichick, and I still think our defense is arguably the best in the AFC. So
I
Yeah.
would say
still,
that it's a
something
really
he
good
said.
defense still.
That's why I don't think we're
We
gonna
did
go.
lose people keep sleeping on. We lost like a couple pieces, but it's still not going to make.
I don't
Nick.
think it matters.
Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just looked through. Sorry, I was a little bit quiet for the last bit because I was just
Huh?
looking
No, yeah, I
through.
saw you doing your
his,
You look
I
like
was
you're
looking
doing some
through-
research.
Yeah, I was
No.
just looking through Cam Newton's 2018 season. All those losses that you talked about, from week 10 of 2018 to week 15 when he played. So that was what? That's 6 games. I just looked through the individual box scores of those games, and for 4 of them, the losses clearly were not his fault. He had the first one. I think he went. So I'll just look at the Detroit Lions one. Also, a lot of these wins are by a touchdown or less, so that isn't necessarily just his fault because he can only control half of the game, and if even that. But let's just look at the. Obviously, this is me picking the best of the games, but let's just look at this Lions performance. This is week 11 or 12. He threw. He was 25 for 37, 357 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a passer rating of 114.4. Tell me that's a
Okay,
bad.
but that's a good performance, but I believe
then let's look at
I
what
heard this
Matthew
morning that
Stafford
his
did in the
passer
same
rating
game.
throughout those
Matthew
8 games
Stafford,
was
the quarterback
36.
who won that game. Let's look at the quarterback who won that game. What did Matthew Stafford do?
Okay, but what about the rest of the
23 for
games,
37.
Chandler? He didn't play well in those games.
I will get to that. So Matthew Stafford in that game, 23
Who
for
cares?
37.
Just look at the rest of them.
Okay, sure. I
I
will.
don't think it matters how he played.
Yeah,
I'll look
it's
at the
depends. It's not a
Pittsburgh
game by
Steelers
game
game.
thing.
That week 10 game. 52-21
also
loss. Pretty bad.
And also, the Lions went 6-10 in 2018 and finished last in the NFC North,
Okay, and the NFC
even
North
if it
is
was
a
by one
bloodbath.
touchdown. What?
The NFC North is a bloodbath.
Okay, why are we debating the NFC North strength
Why?
difficulty?
We're getting
This
so
is not,
off
this
topic.
Is too,
Well,
I'm
I'm
just saying
saying
that the
too
Lions were
specific.
not a
These are
good
too
team that year, and
In
they
the
still
same
lost.
in the same
No,
way that
Nick's
people
correct.
argue that Colin Kaepernick still has a lot to offer, but he was 1-8 in his last 9 games.
I
or
don't
something.
know
Yeah, it
if
wasn't
Colin
great.
Kaepernick has a lot
That's
to
what
offer.
Stewart argues, and I agree
Yeah.
with him there because you can't just look at a quarterback and say, "Oh, he lost that game. He's bad."
No, but his numbers weren't good in those games. That was a good game against Detroit.
Well,
But,
that
like,
game
look at
against Detroit was okay.
But I'm saying that they weren't. His numbers are not terrible in this stretch. Cam Newton.
2018, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's 24 touchdowns, 13 picks, 3,395 yards. His passer rating, does it say here? It doesn't say here, it looks like. Oh, no, here it is. His passer rating was 94.2, so not terrible.
Yeah, and also there's
Rushing.
there's the argument to be
4
had.
touchdowns, 6 fumbles.
it.
All right.
There's the argument to be had that playing with an injury, obviously we can't just keep using injury as a scapegoat, but playing with a nagging injury will lower that performance. That's just common sense.
Yeah,
So
but there's
let's
something to be
say-
said about him not being as physically strong as he was even then, 2 years ago.
That's definitely true. I'm totally with you on that. But also, if you think about it, if there is any time for him to come back to anything close to what he has done, it's now. He's had so much time off to rehab. He's had, and also when you look at like I don't know, Michael Vick, or who's another running quarterback somewhat recently who kind of fell off a cliff. Whatever, some quarterback. Leave that.
Vince Young, I don't know. Vince
Young was a confidence thing. That's a little bit different.
Yeah,
but,
I'm just trying to think of examples.
Yeah, but the example's not important. Like sports science is so much more advanced than it was in 2007. Now that like all of the stars are aligned for him to come back as the best comeback a running quarterback has ever seen. Like everything
What about
is
Michael Vick? Michael Vick, come on. That was pretty good. I know he had
the second best running quarterback comeback.
Well, Vic had the advantage of not really having the age 30 year season.
That's true.
That's why, guys, this is a little off topic, but that's why, like, just in terms of running quarterbacks in general, that like super running quarterbacks, that's why I'm just a little nervous about Lamar Jackson next season, because I feel like teams are going to know how to scheme around him this season compared to last season, and he's going to get more banged up. And I think that's going to take a toll on him in the long run.
The only issue is I think over time that's true, but right now he's still extremely physically strong. Remember, he's only like 22.
Yes, I would say next year. Yeah,
teams
next
could
year,
scheme for him last year towards the end of the year, and he still embarrassed them. Well, until he wasn't even that bad in the Tennessee game, but
yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah, it was more his team that underperformed.
Wow, but he lost the game, therefore he's terrible. That's the logic.
Okay, but
0-8, and
I can't find these dang stats.
that was just that one
line.
Lions game
These
channel
stats
that he
aren't
played
bad.
well in. That's what
All
you're
right.
saying.
Give me
Okay,
a second,
he
I'm
also
still
played well
Judge
in
his
the
entire
Pittsburgh
performance
Steelers
off
game.
that one
2
Lions
touchdowns,
All right.
1 pick.
All right, stop. I have it right here. Wait, let me look at the quarterback rating for these games. Okay, so Detroit was 114 against Seattle. He was 110. Then he was 66 against Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay was a really bad game. 4 picks.
Yeah,
2
then he was
touchdowns,
70
4
against.
4 picks.
Yes, 70 against Cleveland, then 52.5, and then it looks like he didn't play against
Atlanta or New Orleans.
Atlanta or New Orleans. Yeah,
Because he was hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't get
Yeah, the
benched.
right
He was hurt.
shoulder.
Oh,
Yep.
and then wait, I'm looking at the games before Detroit. Oh, okay. Wait,
Yeah,
oh my God,
I didn't
they lost
even look at
21 to
those.
52. They lost 21 to 52, but he had 103 passer rating. So I guess
All
it
right,
wasn't
I feel like-
awful.
Okay, I feel
Yeah.
like we kind of get the point. Yeah, like I feel like once we start getting into individual games, it starts getting a little.
But it is important to make the point that
fuzzy.
that 0-8 stretch. But I mean, there is something to be said about the eye test. And just watching him last year in the preseason and in week 1, he just didn't look like the same dude as he did. Like, not even
That's
close.
true.
And you might want to hawk that up to injury or, like, maybe he wasn't conditioning well, which could be true.
I think it
but,
might
like,
I think it might be similar to Vince Young. I think it might be a confidence thing.
Yeah,
Players
maybe, yeah.
because Cam Newton's such an emotional player. Like,
there's no way of really knowing.
obviously the whole Superman thing. Like, he thrives off of like
The yogurt thing.
people having strong opinions about him. whether those be positive or negative. And I mean, he just simply didn't have that at the time.
Yeah, he likes to be in the spotlight.
Well,
sure.
let's just hope that he's.
I don't, but like I
The
don't
thing is
think
with
he's.
both of these guys, as I'll just take whatever we can get. We lost the greatest quarterback of all time, so anything we can get out of either of these guys, I'm gonna be happy with. Because I mean, if you think about it, like if there was actually like karma, we would now deserve like a terrible quarterback for 10 years. So the fact that we can even get a guy like Newton, or even if Stidham's decent, that's something. But like the way Nick talks about Stidham reminds me of like freezing cold takes. Like in years, it'll be like, oh, like Zach Mettenberger is gonna be like a Pro Bowler in this league, and now he's like
Let's
0-12
go.
as a starter. That's like what I think about
Zach
Stidham. I mean, I don't know if that's true, Nick,
quarterback of all time.
but that's just how I feel about the way you're talking about him, and based on what we've seen. But it might not be true. Maybe he'll be good.
I don't think Stidham is the end all and be all quarterback. He's not an outstanding quarterback yet.
I think they should switch him to tight end.
No.
Why not?
No.
Tebow time,
like,
baby.
When you think about the perks, if you think about the perks of Cam Newton, you think of his running abilities, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you better not say Stidham's like a better runner, because he isn't, and he isn't.
I'm not saying Stidham's a better
I don't want to talk
runner,
about Stidham's measurables. His measurables are pretty bad.
Cam Newton, who thrives off that physical running game, he's not like Lamar Jackson where he's trying to juke everybody out. He just tries to truck right.
He's big.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
He's like
but the thing is, after being banged up like how he is, I don't know if he's going to be nearly the same runner. And at the same time, Sam, I see you. You're ready to kill me for this. But I think that Stidham is a good scrambling quarterback.
Yeah, he does have the ability. I played Madden with him. He was running all over the field. Come on.
Yeah, don't even deny it.
I don't know. What's Jared Stidham's 42?
I was playing Madden. He was crazy. I had like 5 rushing attempts, 112 yards. Now I kept throwing picks, but it was okay. He was a 57 overall.
Okay, but even in real life though, and this is where I tie back into his smart decision making.
Jared Stidham
This is where I tie into his smart.
4.81. Is that good?
4.81. That's not slow. But also,
like average.
But it's not a running quarterback.
It's not that fast.
He's not a running quarterback, but he's a scrambling quarterback. You can't say that.
I'll give Nick that. I'll totally give Nick that. He's like a really actually like a pretty good runner.
Sure.
Yeah, but the thing about being a running quarterback is you have to have the instinct to run. Jared Stidham doesn't have the instinct to run.
Yes, he can. I would say he does.
Put him in the situation.
Yeah, you just make me the coach, and I'll just run QB run. What's it called?
QB power.
Yeah, I'll just
run behind the fullback.
Little fake run, and then he just takes off every time. They'll never be ready for it. They should just run a 2 quarterback set. Just run Newton in there at the Wildcat.
Bring in RG3.
Newton can play
a trio
if he's not running the quarterback.
Let's just play with 6 quarterbacks and then 5 off.
And they just run all around the field.
Oh my god.
Let's play with 6 quarterbacks and then 5 off.
Okay, I'll say one thing. It will be nice to have a quarterback who can actually move instead of just stand there like a dumbass and
exactly
and fall.
Yeah. And throw the ball away every 5 seconds.
Brady's like, oh. He had no mobility in the last 3 years there. He just stand there, and if there was any pressure, he just give up. Like there was
he had 1,000 rushing all the time. Tom Brady has 1,000 rushing yards. Get off.
We're just salty now.
He could make some plays with his legs. Brady just stands there and just gets pummeled.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dang it.
Well,
it's just if you think Newton's a running quarterback still, I mean, I would say that he's still a running quarterback, but he's not.
He's not what he
was. He's not. I would say that.
I agree.
I don't want to say that he's equal to Stidham because that's kind of ludicrous. But I would say that Stidham's a close.
The difference is less than you actually might.
Yeah, like to the eye.
But also Stidham doesn't have great eye test either. He doesn't have a very big arm. He doesn't have super broad shoulders. He's not that tall, and he's not that good of a run.
Neither did Brady.
Neither did Brady.
Yeah, compared to Brady now. All right, Nick.
All right.
Well, Chandler was doing the same thing earlier.
I think we.
Yeah,
we
but
should,
Nick, you're completely speculating with Stidham, so I'm just also speculating.
Well,
and Brady,
how about we all go around and say our final thoughts?
Let's just say final thoughts. Final thoughts.
Everybody go around and say your final piece, what your consensus is, everything like that.
Sam.
A clear direction on what everybody's
I'll start. Oh, wait.
Stuart can start.
Okay. Let's see. I just don't think either of them are very good, and I just don't think the signing matters that much. It is fun, and it is a good narrative for the league, but I just don't think he's that good. But I also don't think Stidham's good, Nick. So I just don't think that it matters at the end of the day. I hope Newton's good. I hope Stidham might be good, but my confidence is still pretty low in this season.
I do somewhat agree with Stuart, maybe a little less extreme. I do think it's a fun signing as well. I think it's interesting and makes the season a little more interesting in the AFC, especially the AFC East. If Cam ends up not performing well, I'm not going to be mad. If Stidham ends up being the greatest of all time, I'm not going to be mad.
I'm gonna say I told
I'm
you
gonna be
so.
so excited.
Yeah, that would be kind of hype.
Like if it was a Joe Montana, Steve Young situation. But I don't know. I just think
he wears number 8. Come on.
I mean, I kind of want us. I kind of want us
Wait,
to be
does Stidham wear
bad
4 or
so we
8?
can get a good pick.
Stidham wears 4.
Okay.
We'll see. I think Cam has a lot of potential,
No.
but I also can see him getting injured and not playing as well again or something like that. And Stidham, who knows? Who knows about Stidham? So there you go. That's my 2 cents.
Stidham's like gonna get cut in training camp, and then this whole thing's just not even gonna matter.
I swear to, if it does, I would cry.
I mean, there's a possibility.
We're having a
Oh my
funeral
God.
podcast.
I think there's a real
my God.
possibility. What if he plays?
If we have a
Stidham plays
podcast about
poorly?
Jared
What
Stidham
if-
getting cut,
What
it's gonna be
if
like
he
the
got
best.
cut?
It's
That
gonna
would
be
be
like the best
so
90
funny.
minutes of my
What
life.
if-
That would
What
be
if-
so
wait.
funny.
What if he
It's
gets
just a
outplayed?
saga.
What if he gets outplayed by Newton, Hoyer, and one of the quarterbacks we drafted? Then he's gonna get cut.
And Edelman.
Edelman's not gonna play quarterback. Come on.
Yep, Edelman.
We-
is the
I
third
put
best
Edelman
quarterback
above
in the
Stidham on the depth chart.
I just want to point out we have
All right.
5 quarterbacks on the depth chart right now.
I know.
Chandler, final take.
Yeah, Chandler, go
Okay,
ahead.
so my final take is that Cam Newton will bring the Patriots from a 6-10 record with Jared Stidham to a 7-9 record because he's also not that good. But
Yeah.
also,
I
Jared
agree with
Stidham
that.
is going now that he is no longer in line to be a starting quarterback. I can comfortably say that Jared Stidham is around the 35th best quarterback in football right now.
Seems about right for me. I'd push it even towards 40.
He is probably like the 5th best backup in that.
Yeah, 37 maybe.
37, yeah, something
I'd
around
say
there.
Newton's like 29. I don't
And
think.
with
Wait,
that-
no, wait. Yeah, we're gonna save
with that-
save our ranking of him for the ranking episode that will come out soon.
I see, but
So
I'm
don't
recanting
reveal
on
that
my
yet.
ranking. I put Stidham way too high.
It's
I put
gotten
Stidham way too
worse.
high.
It's
For
gotten
those of you
worse.
who will watch that, you'll understand how funny that is when I
Hey,
say
But
that. I
Stidham-
put him too high.
Stidham's not even a starting quarterback anymore, so he's not even
Yeah.
on the list.
Let's go. Stidham is Stidham's the
He's not-
I'm gonna kill you. I'm
so
gonna kill
Tyrod
you.
Taylor
can't- we
wins.
can't- We can't put out the
Tyrod Taylor
podcast.
wins.
We can't put
Ben
out the podcast
Roethlisberger
now
wins.
because it's outdated.
No.
Yes,
I think we have to redo
yes.
it.
Nick,
We have to redo it
Nick,
just to
final
make
take.
Nick
Final
relive
take,
this
Nick.
trauma.
Nick,
All
final
right,
take.
here's my final take. Don't get me wrong. I like the signing. I'm the most hated person in this room right now just because of my opinions on Jared Stidham.
Oh, we're
But
also
I
not in the
do
same
like
boat.
this.
All right, bold sources
Go,
are reporting
just
that
let him
Nick
talk,
is
let him talk.
sleeping with Jared Stidham.
Nick, just go.
All right. Yeah. I like the signing, but I do not feel that the Patriots have a guaranteed starter yet. I would say that it's a 60% chance that Cam Newton starts game 1 and a 40% chance that Stidham starts game 1. It's going to come down to the preseason. I feel like Newton still has a lot to prove before he can be given that starter role. So
I agree.
based off just Newton's past, like I've said a million times already, 0-8 since week 10 of the 2018 season. He's been completely banged up. Right shoulder injury, the foot injury that he's had. He's just not the same player as he was a couple years ago, and I feel like that's going to show here in the preseason. Don't get me wrong. If Cam Newton ends up being our starter, I'm not going to be mad at all.
Yeah, you
Stidham
will.
gets another year to develop, and then the next year
And
after
then the
that,
next year he gets
then he gets cut.
And then he gets cut,
And
and that's the
then
end
he
of his
gets cut.
NFL
Let me finish.
career
Let me
right
finish.
there.
Let me finish.
So
Let
David
Play
Black
backup for the Eagles and then gets cut 1 year later.
me finish.
He's playing the Arena Football League.
Oh my God.
The
No,
XFL.
He's a quarterback development coach for Auburn.
Let me finish. Stuart.
Yo, how does it feel that Bo
well-
Nix right now, the Auburn quarterback, is better than Jared Stidham is right now? Bo Nix is a
Can
rising
you
star.
please stop? Why do you
I'd
think
rather-
all of these things?
Can we have Cam Newton in a wheelchair over Jared Stidham?
Dude.
We can bring
All
Belichick
right.
in.
That's-
All right.
Look. If
Put Belichick.
if Cam Newton ends up
Cam
starting
Newton's
for the
on the
Patriots
oxygen
this year,
tank with the
Robert
coronavirus.
if Cam Newton ends up starting for the Patriots this year, he does pretty well. Whoop-de-doo. Jared Stidham gets another year to develop and become our primetime starter the
You
next
are
year,
just a
which is
fool.
what
No.
Nick, what is
We're
this?
ending it
What
here.
is
We're
this?
ending it. We're ending it
Nick,
here.
what is this? What is this?
We're ending it.
Patriots hat.
Nick,
No, it's
close it
pass.
out. Close it out. Close it
Okay,
out.
well,
Pass.
all right. Yeah, let me finish.
Nick's got a Jared
Uh,
Stidham fetish, bro.
Everyone
Alright.
just quiet for a second.
But I mean, obviously, I'm not hating on Cam Newton. I would love for both of them to do well, but I feel like it's going to come down to a preseason decision. I wouldn't be surprised if they split the season starts. And I also wouldn't be surprised if Stidham started or if Newton started. I feel like it's all up in the air right now. And I feel like it's shameful that everybody's making predictions that Newton is the automatic starter when he clearly isn't.
Okay, Nick, wrap it up before it gets ugly.
All right. Okay. Well, my last point before I do the outro, I feel like we should just rename this podcast the Jared Stidham Podcast because every episode ties into Jared Stidham somehow.
Years from now,
Every
that's the only
episode we
reason
make a
people remember
point
his
about
name.
Jared Stidham.
I would take Matt Castle right now over Jared Stidham.
I take Ryan Mallett,
my
Tim
God.
Tebow,
Oh my God.
David.
Why?
I'd take Chris Sale's throwing ability as a pitcher.
Oh my!
Kevin Love's ability to throw outlet passes. I'd take
Why?
Nick's younger brother.
Dude, I cannot wait.
I will take
I
Andrew
cannot
Antonakis
wait
behind
until
him.
Jared
I cannot wait
Stidham wins
until
an
Stidham
MVP.
goes out there.
Hell, I don't
with
even.
4 touchdowns.
I
2 picks,
can't
and
wait
gets
until
cut in
Jared
week 10.
Stidham starts a game and wins. We're gonna have a
All right,
podcast and the
let's
whole
go.
time.
Let's just
He
Nick
wins.
wrap
He
it up.
0 on one
It's gonna
Nick.
be an hour of me saying "I told you so" to
Nick,
every
wrap
one
it
of
up.
you.
Nick,
All right, okay.
wrap it up.
That's all we have for you guys today. Make sure to stay tuned to ACMi Sports on YouTube for the episodes that we have coming out. We have an NHL playoff prediction episode coming out. We have the ranking NFL quarterbacks episode coming out, which was a hell of a ride for Jared
The
Stidham.
bloodbath.
And then also
And also brought
we have the Boston Sports Hot Takes episode that they're all in the vault. They're in the process of being edited and published now. So make sure stay tuned to ACMi Sports on Instagram and on YouTube to get the latest updates on when those episodes go up. And obviously, leave a like on the video in the comments. Say how much you love Jared Stidham and Cam Newton. Let's hear your thoughts.
Comment
Let's hear
KYS.
your thoughts on this. I want everybody to put that frowny face that I always use in the comments if you think that Jared Stidham is going to start as the Patriots quarterback.
He won't.
All right.
All right, but yeah, leave a like on the video. Subscribe to ACMi Sports on YouTube. Go follow ACMi Sports on Instagram for all the latest updates, both about professional sports and sports at the high school level for Arlington High. And that's it. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody. From ACMi Sports, my name is Nick Antonakis, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching this exclusive episode for the
Nick.
Cam Newton signing.